Welcome to JSA TV Europe, together with the Greener Data Movement, for this quarter's live event focused on European digital infrastructure sustainability. I'm Jean-Marc Lim, and joining me today is Stijn, board member of the Climate Neutral Data Center Pact. And Stijn, good to see you a couple of weeks after your massive and gigantic successful event in Amsterdam, which I hope you managed to get some sleep afterwards.
A little bit, but we look back at a very successful event, and it was great to see you again in person. And it was great to see so many people in person again.
It was very interesting. You can see the audience has also changed even for better than last year. So it's really evolving into something quite special within the European data center event space. But talking about sustainability now, so what would you say are the key challenges that Europe is still facing in achieving its goal of making data centers sustainable by 2030?
Well, I think that the first and utmost thing is understanding our business, and that we can connect also with government on these type of topics and how this industry is working. I think that as an industry, we're always have been focusing on sustainability, and if you look at the results that we got on and how we use green energy, the amount of green energy, the percentage of green energy, we're really at the front. But I think as a new industry, we're still not completely understood in how this industry works. That, for instance, co-location isn't controlling the IT in the data center, and that gives complications with legislation. So we're trying to give the helping hand to legislators and be very close to that, because I think it's vital and to have the basis right.
Okay, so for our viewers that don't know the Climate Neutral Data Center Pact, can you just give a brief overview of what the organization does and wants to achieve? And also, how do you work with data center operators and policymakers and other stakeholders within the data center space?
Yeah, the Climate Neutral Data Center Pact is a unique pact because it's made by started by the cloud industry and the data center industry together. So EU DCA and CISPE, the umbrella organization for the cloud providers in Europe, work together on creating a pact in which we say, as an industry, we want to achieve a sustainable industry and set goals on water, on energy use, on waste heat, on recycling, and really make also, for instance, a framework in which we can say we're only not only doing it, saying that we're doing it, but you can also check on what we have, what we want to achieve, and this is something that. And this pact also combines the industry, which makes it easier for a government to work with an industry, because we're all in this pact together.
Yeah, and I think that's the key message. We're all in this together, and this is an issue that affects even beyond, of course, the data holds into the wider society and the human species as a whole. But then an organization like the Climate Neutral Data Center Pact, it's quite interesting, and the ambitions are very big. And very important to the marketplace. But how are you going to kind of measure and report on your progress in your goal of making data centers climate neutral? And then what metrics will you be looking at from an organization point of view?
Well, with a new industry, there are a lot of challenges, and we know that there are challenges. For instance, if you want to report on what is happening, you need to have a good baseline. You need to have standards. And if you look at the international standards in Europe, the EN 5600, that's still under development. So especially the KPIs, these are the ones that are still being worked on. But we have made the initiative to create a framework in which we can monitor the progress. And this framework, which is developed together with Bureau Veritas, we set a real sort of like the main areas that we want to monitor. We have set specific goals, scientifically based goals that can be monitored via these specific KPIs that we put forward. And by doing so, we made the framework also usable for smaller providers so that they can do self-assessment. And on the other hand, we can use the framework also for auditors, that they can use it for larger firms to monitor on the same specific areas. And with this, you can sort of like create a real clear baseline for smaller providers and for also the larger providers that are operating in Europe.
Interesting. And then, so what implications will the pack have for businesses in Europe that rely on data center services? So not so much on the operator side, but the people that actually use the data centers to store their stuff. How is the pack going to impact them?
Well, I think that people that run IT, they look for reliable data centers. They look for a chain of digital infrastructure which can be really audited on every level. So on the cloud level, on the data center level, on the energy used, and by having clear frameworks and clear ways of doing assessments, audits on every level, I think that will give also some assurance with companies that that can show to their people or their investors or their users that every part of the value chain or the digital chain is actually doing it in the most sustainable manner. So I think that in a world where accountability is becoming more and more important, I think having a clear framework that can be monitored and that can be audited is vital for also a lot of businesses, that everybody needs to be responsible for making their operation 100% green. And if they outsource then to a data center, it is great that the data center can also provide that evidence.
Very, very true. And then, so let's look at to the pack as an organization itself. Where are you in terms of numbers of members? Where do you want to go? What's coming up? Give us a spin of what's happening now and what's coming next for the pack.
Well, we started, I think, around 3 years ago, and we have grown into an organization where we have around 20 NTAs, both from the cloud side, both from the data center side involved, from every part of Europe, and around 80 larger operators. And these operators are, on the one hand, local cloud operators, a lot of data center operators, of course, and also hyperscale operators. But they represent really, I think, above 90 or above 80% of the capacity in Europe. So it's a real good representation of this industry that have also supported us in this idea of creating a real industry-backed pact.
Okay. And then, Stijn, you're a very busy person, so I'm going to take advantage and just ask a couple more things. Give us a spin as well on what's happening with the Dutch Data Center Association, with Kickstart, and anything else you're involved with, because you're involved with a lot of different things.
Yeah. Well, I think that working together in a European way helps us also to offload a lot of work in the common things that we have together. And by doing it in a European way, we have the same issues also in the Netherlands, and so that's a very positive thing. Yeah, well, on the one hand, in the Netherlands, we focus very much on the public affairs side, and on the other hand, very much on the promotion side. And like you said, 6 years ago, we started with Kickstart to promote and to bring a event on the agenda, where at the start of the year to meet each other. And now, we grew from 250 people now to 1,500. So that's really has been a big success. It's also a big challenge to really raise the standards every year. But I'm very happy how how it went and the reactions that we got. So very happy on that. And that's really, on the one hand, it's of course in Amsterdam, so it's easy for us to attend as Dutch, but it's really a European. It's become a European event where the whole industry is coming together. We had over 20 NTAs in Amsterdam having separate meetings. There were a lot of good events, but also updates from Northern Europe, Southern Europe, West, Eastern Europe. So I'm very happy that that is all coming together. And especially since COVID, I think we just today also had an NTA call in Europe, and everybody, or there were some remarks that it was so good to meet each other finally again, and that helps to work together and to move forward. Yeah, and if you look at so like the real issues in the Netherlands, of course we see growth as the rest of Europe, but we're also seeing a challenging environment. So the energy market, the grid, there are challenges. Yeah, we have to think of a new way to make growth possible. On the one hand, we are growing because more people are moving to the cloud. To AI is stimulating growth. On the other hand, we see we all are also having the same problems as the rest of the Netherlands, that everybody is moving towards solar panels on its roof, cars that are electric, which is putting a large burden on the energy grid. So we need to find new ways to work together with the grid companies to expand the grid, to also make long-term plans on how to grow the industry. So that means a lot of dossiers, a lot of issues in which we want to be on the table and work with government to find a solution in that.
Interesting. So just going back on the pack now. So if people want to learn more about the pack and maybe join, how can they do so? How can they get in touch? How can they learn more about the climate neutral data center pack?
Well, we have a good website where there's a lot of information called Climate Neutral Data Center .net, and data center spelled in the English way, RE. And on that website, you can find information about the Pact, on how to join, who has joined, on the working groups, on the resources. So there's a lot of information there. You can also follow us on the news. There's a timeline of what we have achieved since 2021 and where we are going to. So we have just renewed the website. It's a very clear website. So there you can also see in summary what's actually what we're trying to achieve. So that is something I would recommend everybody to go to first. And otherwise, if people have questions, contact us and contact me, and we're happy to help and provide more info. Because if you haven't joined as an operator or as a cloud provider, I think it's very good if you are part of it and you're backing it, and so that we can make steps together.
The seal of approval. Stijn, as always, has been a pleasure speaking to you. It's been a pleasure to see you a month ago as well, less than a month ago, in Amsterdam. So, and I can't wait to see what's coming up in the next few months. And then, of course, Amsterdam 2024, which I'm sure is going to be bigger and better and bolder as well in terms of conversations. So thanks so much for coming on board. As for your home, thank you for tuning into JSA TV Live. Don't forget to check our social channels for more content. And until next time, happy networking.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.